So let's acknowledge moms today, shall we? So if you are a mother, I want you to raise your hand and we acknowledge you. We just say thank you. If you're a grandmother, we say, who's a grandmother? Thank you. If you're a great-grandmother, oh, really? I think we need to have you stand up. We need to give you some applause. If you can, stand up. Let's give them some applause, great-grandmothers. There you go. Good job. Yay. So let's just also just say we'll just kind of do continuous thank yous here. Think about the people in your life who have mothered you, that are not just your mother, that other friends or a sister or brother or whatever, someone else who gave you that motherly love. If you're a mother for a fur baby, raise your hand. Lots of fur babies here. I love it. And what I also want to do today is acknowledge anyone in this audience that has had an issue with Mother's Day. My mother died quite a while ago, and I always get so upset when I keep getting all these, send Marge flowers, send her, it's like she's been gone, stop it. But if this is a painful day for you, whether that, you had a upset with your mother or your mother is gone, or you wish you had children or anything like that, just raise your hand as we just give you some love and acknowledgement. Thank you. So today is an interesting day because for some people it's a big celebration. For other people it is painful, and I just want to acknowledge that. But let's just wrap this part up with also just giving acknowledgement to the greatest mother of all, which is Mother Earth. Let's just acknowledge Mother Earth for what she's trying to do with all of us. So I've done my research. I want to give you just a little bit of information here of how Mother's Day even started. So did you know in 1908, a woman named Anna Jarvis first suggested the national observance of an annual day honoring mothers because she loved her mother and wanted to do something for her. So she petitioned for this, and she did all of this kind of stuff. And within just a few years, the idea started to gather some strength, and it gained popularity, and Mother's Day was first observed in the United States on May 9th, 1914. Did you know that? We're going to have a pop quiz at the end of this just to make sure you get all this. President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day. Now, by then it had become customary to wear white carnations to honor departed mothers and red to honor the living, a custom that continues to this day. But you know what? You all get red roses. Are we doing that? All different colors of roses at the end of our service today. So let's just give an applause to all the mothers and what Mother's Day is and all that kind of stuff. So I am going to do something. I'm going to do two things today that are brand new for me. Can I? With you wonderful supportive audience. I'm going to do my first PowerPoint with the help of dear John, who's put this together. I'm going to do my first little teeny PowerPoint for you. And I'm going to do a PowerPoint about something I've never, ever done, which is talk about my mother's history. I've done a lot of Mother's Day talks, and I've never talked about my mother's history, which to me, we all think if we had a good relationship with our mothers, we think they're special. But my mother had quite an interesting history that I want to share with you. So let me tell you about my mother. So my mother grew up in the Midwest and in Superior, Wisconsin, and she was just this sweet little country girl. And yeah, see already, look at this. Thank you. So she was just this little sweet country girl, but she was really pretty, and she became homecoming queen and all this kind of stuff. And she was studying to be a teacher, and her life changed when she met this boy in her town named Richard Bong. Now, the two fell in love, and it turns out, after a while, so they were dating and stuff, but Richard Bong went into the World War II, and he became a complete World War II hero. He was known as the Ace of Aces. If you Google his name, you will see all these videos and movies and all this stuff about him. He was known as the Ace of Aces for his rank as the top American flying ace during World War II. Major Richard Bong is credited for downing 40 enemy aircraft over the course of his career as a fighter pilot. Now, in December 1944, he received the Medal of Honor from General Douglas MacArthur for his service, a Purple Heart. He just did every single kind of award you could do. And what he did was he put my mom's picture on the front of his plane. And the plane became the Marge. It was known as the Marge. Now, their story captivated the world. I mean, it was like truly the stuff of movies, because here's this country girl and this big, World War II flying ace, and when they got married, what happened was Life magazine photographed they had to have 2 wedding ceremonies. They had to have their regular wedding for just their friends and family, but then Life magazine did this whole thing on them, and they were just catapulted into this star status, to the point of when they came to Hollywood on their honeymoon, they were met by Judy Garland and Clark Gable. There's a picture of Judy Garland there. And instead of it being like, oh my God, it's Judy Garland, they were going, oh my God, it's Richard Bong and his wife. I mean, it was like they just became like these superstars. So what happened after that was the Army decided, after he had gotten the most of these, ace of aces, all these planes shot down, they decided he would do better for the war if they pulled him out of fighting, and he would go on publicity tours and sell war bonds and all of this kind of stuff. And he wanted to be out there doing stuff, but they just said, no, we don't want to risk having anything happen to you. You're better, doing publicity for us. So so here's what is so amazing about this story, though. So they moved to Hollywood, and he's just doing all this publicity stuff and whatever. And he became a test pilot for Lockheed. And it turned out that just doing a general flight, his plane malfunctioned and went down. 21 years old. And the whole country was, again, Life magazine, it was just like the big news. And my mother heard this on the radio. That's how she heard about that he went down. And what was, again, in true hero fashion, he wound up making it that the plane was going down, but he made it that it didn't go over any houses. That he forced it to go into a field, and that's where it crashed. So she heard about this on the news, and when she went back home, of course it was, huge news, and she was treated like royalty, because, oh my God, you're the grieving widow. And so there's that picture of her at the funeral. But she said she was back home for a while, and everyone kept approaching her like, oh, you poor thing, oh, this. And just, she became that image of she had to be in grief all the time and wear black. And she said that the turning point for her was she was out to lunch with some friends, and someone saw her laughing. And all of a sudden, people were going, how could she laugh, in this tragedy? And at that moment, she said, I have to leave. And so she moved to Hollywood, and she started a whole new life. Whole new life. She's 21 years old. Whole new life. And she became a fashion model. Big fashion model. She became very well known in the industry. My father actually had a fashion magazine, and that's how they met. She became one of his models, and she started this whole new life. And she started this family with me, my sister. But what she did was she buried this story so deeply that my sister and I didn't even ever know about this until we were in our 30s. She made it like this was her other life, and she wasn't going to have my father feel competition or any kind of weird stuff. So she started this whole new life, and it was only after my dad died that she reclaimed that life, because all of a sudden she started getting calls from people saying, could you dedicate this bridge for us? Can you do, all these, because if you go back there's the Bong Bridge, Bong High School, Bong College, Bong, everything is Bong. And she started this whole new life. And she wound up becoming very instrumental in opening up this thing called the Bong Museum, or the World War II Museum in Superior, Wisconsin. It's this huge, beautiful museum that honors World War II veterans. And so Richard's plane, oh, there it is. Richard's plane is in there with the picture of my mom right there. And what she did at the end of her life, she claimed that part of herself and wrote a book and started doing talks. And my mother was very shy, but this was like her mission, was to make this Bong Museum happen. And she did talks and traveled all around doing keynotes. And there's my mom in her late 70s. And she did this all the way until she died in 2003. So that is my beautiful mother right there for you. So I wanted to share this story with you because we learn lessons from our parents, from our mothers and fathers, and we look at how they live their lives and we make decisions. You know, Carolyn Mace calls it the 6-second moment. When you see something happen and you go, oh, that's a belief. That's what I need to do to survive in this world. Oh, that's a belief. And what I realize is some of the reason why I wanted to tell this story of my mom is that the things that she did in that tragedy that she went through really determined who I became because of what she showed me. And one of the first things that she did was she taught me the idea of don't be defined by what people think. Follow your own guidance. So when she was back in Wisconsin and everyone was approaching her as, oh, poor widow, she realized she didn't want to hold that belief system, that there was more to her than just being this widow. And she had a great life with Richard for as short of a time that they had, but she knew she had to make a choice. That she could stay there and get sympathy all her life and just be known as the wife of, or create a whole new path. And I mean, when I think about how shy she was and a little country girl moving out to California by herself to start a whole new life, that gave me so much strength as an adult, to think about the things that are scary for me. Look what my mom did. And she taught me, when I was a teenager, I was just this drip. I had curly hair and I had acne and braces and I'm straightening my hair every night and I just was a drip. And I remember I would coming home and I would say, oh, I'm just, I'm such a geek and no one likes me. And she just would not let me ever let those ideas that I had about myself plant in me. She said, no, you are much better than what you're thinking you are. And those people that are, thinking that you're a drip, tell them to back off. And, when she had cancer at the end of her life, she never wanted to be thought of as a victim. She didn't want to claim herself as, oh, I'm a cancer victim. She actually had this mantra, I am healed, whole, and healthy. And she said that every day. And when I heard that, I was like, well, that's a song I've got to write for you. So I am healed, whole, and healthy. I relax and visualize. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well. And she would play that every day. And that became her theme song. So it was like defining herself as, no, I'm healed. So it's actually like the song that I sang, the very first song I sang today. I will receive, I just have to know, and then declare it to be so with an open mind and just a little bit of time. If it serves my highest good, then it's mine. I mean, that's what we teach in these principles, don't we? It's you have to believe it, you have to see it, you have to believe it and know it, and then it will manifest. And she also taught me about being sensitive to others' feelings. I mean, the fact that she buried this past, that she would have had a lot of acclaim still, but she was sensitive to my dad, and saying that this was a whole other life that she wanted to create with him that didn't have anything to do with that. And so, I mean, the fact that she kept it a secret, well, that's a whole other thing. But, that's our little family secrets that we all have is just bizarre when we found out all about all this stuff. It was like, what? But that's what she felt she needed to do. And I honor that in her. I believe so much in divine right timing that it's like as much as I can have a judgment about that, I have to know that in her mind, divine right timing is she knew that at some point that we would know about this. But when I was 10 years old, she didn't feel it was appropriate. That was my dad. This was our life. That was good enough for her. And the thing that I love about my mom is I love this expression, stop watering dead plants. Not a great expression. Just stop watering dead plants. It's dead. Let it go. Get a new plant. But what do? It's like, no, put more Miracle Grow on it and sing to it every day and it'll come back. She taught me the idea about when something is no longer serving you. Move on. Move on. Even if you're attached, it's like, look at it and say, is it serving my highest good? I mean, to me, that can be a lesson, and that could be a daily spiritual practice that we all do. Is this serving my highest good on every level? On every level, you could say, is being with this person or this job or wearing these clothes or whatever it is this serving my highest good? And, I love this. I love the idea of saying, is it an it or a not it? Is something an it? Is it lighting you up and giving you passion and bringing you joy? Or is it not it? Is it draining you? Is it an energy leak that every time you think about doing it or being with that person, you're like, oh, my God, how does it feel in your heart? And that's how you get better at knowing, stop watering dead plants. It's like, is this serving my highest good? And the other thing that I think is so interesting about my mother is she taught me about making time to do what lights you up, making time for creativity. Now, she had, in her other life, in the life that I grew up having, she had a full-time job working at home. And so every morning I would hear that IBM Selectric going, and she was, up at 7 o'clock working and working. You know what she also taught me? This is another thing. I remember at one point, she's working at home every day, nobody's seeing her, and she would put full makeup on every day and get dressed up. And I remember coming to her one day and going, Mom, why are you doing this? I mean, why do you take the time to do all that stuff? No one's seeing you. And she gave me the best lesson ever. She said, when I look in the mirror, I see me. And that's the most important person. That she wasn't making up or getting dressed for anybody else. She was doing it for herself, and it would make her feel good. But one of the things that she taught me about this idea of creativity was, as much as she had this, full-time job and she's working all the time, she made time every day to paint. Even if it was for 10 minutes. She loved to paint. She was so creative. And when she was in her, really her final day, she didn't want to die at home. She wanted to go to a hospice care place. And because she said, I want the memory of my beautiful home to stay that. I don't want to have, strangers and tubes and machines in my house. I want to keep it as a memory of that. But she had gotten into painting little figurines, little porcelain figurine things. Clay, I guess, is what it was. And I remember, the day before she died, she wasn't speaking now. She was doing the slow decline. And my sister and I were with her all this time. And she motioned that she had to get out of bed. And she hadn't been out of bed for days. It's like, okay, how do we do this? So we get her out of bed, and she's sitting there, and she motions for this little Santa Claus that was half done, that she had brought from home. And she motioned to get my paints and whatever. And I have this picture of her sitting there, painting the little booties. All that was left was the booties. She was doing the booties, and when she was done, she put it down, she looked at it, and went back to bed and died the next night. And I just thought, my God, she was so determined. She had to finish that project. She had to honor that creativity. And that's the word I use for all of us, honoring. Do we honor ourselves? Do we give ourselves that gift? When you look at the gifts and the qualities that your mom gave you, good or bad, how do you take that into your being? And how do you nurture yourself today? So that's the question I ask. How good am I at nurturing myself? How good am I at mothering myself? And just think about that for a minute. What do you do that's good for yourself, that's sweet to yourself, that's mothering? I love that when you think about when you're bad and your mom says, Missy, it's time for you to go take a time out. Don't you just want someone to tell you to go take a time out and go to your room and lie down? I'd kill to have someone tell me that right now. But, give that to yourself. Do you need to rest? What is it that you need to do? And the other part, too, is just listening to yourself, to be able to really see what is it that I need to do to nurture myself. I have this practice that I do every morning where I put my hand over my heart and I say, what does my heart have to say? What does my heart have to say? You're not listening to what the world wants you to do. You're checking in with yourself. I mean, it's exactly what you were just talking about with the principles of unity. of prayer and listening and meditation, what is it that I need to do today? Or be today? Or have today? I got this idea from when I was part of a little theater troupe, and we used to go around to all these different children's pediatric hospitals all around the Bay Area, and the character that I played in this little skit was Dr. Heart. And I had a heart smock and heart earrings and I just had hearts all over me. And what I had to do with my little stethoscope is go up to all the little kids and put my, stethoscope on their little heart and go, what does your heart have to say? What does your heart have to say? And they didn't have their doctors or their family or anyone in the room, but they would look at me and just tell me what was really on their heart without any filters. Oh, my heart wants to go out and play. My heart is sad because my parents are so worried. And they just allowed themselves to say what was ever true for them. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Because what we tend to do is, my heart today wants to just rest. Oh, but I can't because I've got to go to work and I've got this lunch date and I've got this. But allow it to come up. What does my heart have to say? That's the first way that you can truly nurture yourself. And sometimes it's the thing of saying yes and no. And one of my favorite expressions from Cheryl Richardson is, sometimes in order for me to be truly authentic to myself, I have to be willing to disappoint someone every day. Ooh. I actually have a song called N.O. is my new yes. And, I do. You have to know that all the songs I write are all my, issues. You get to see what all my issues are. And this song, N.O. is my new yes, and one of the lines in one of the verses is, how good is my giving, how authentic, how true, when I cheat me just to please you. Isn't that a good one? How good is my giving, how authentic am I being, how true, when I cheat myself just to make sure you like me and you're going to be okay. How often do we do that? So if you look at So the main thing I want to talk about in this talk today is really mothering yourself in a way that works for you. And if you're doing things that don't light you up or don't fulfill you on some level, stop it. Back off. Be willing to give yourself that gift. And then the last thing that I really want to talk about here is just loving yourself, giving yourself that love and kindness that you give to other people. I mean, have you ever noticed that you give more love and kindness and make sure they're okay to people that you might not even like so much, but you'll spend all this energy trying to make them happy. Direct that energy back to yourself. I actually have a brand new album that I just made thinking about when you were a child and you had your mom sing you lullabies. Well, I don't know about you, but the idea of a lullaby saying, down the bough breaks, the baby will fall, and down will come baby, cradle and all. It's like, I don't want that to happen to me. But I thought, well, as adults, we need to be nurtured. So I just came out with this new album about lullabies for adults and children. So that song turned into, you are pure love and you are pure light. You are a spirit shining so bright. When you allow to let your light shine, that love is a bridge from your heart to mine. I mean, isn't that sweeter? Isn't that just sweeter? So let's do this. Let's just do a little meditation here today. So take everything off your laps, and we're going to just do a little thing about being gentle with ourselves, because I think that's the biggest thing we all need to do. So let me sing it to you once, and I'll have you sing it with me. So take a deep breath. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. So you can even put your hand over your heart. I will be gentle with again that line. I will be gentle with and I will hold myself. I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. So just imagine right now, waking up tomorrow morning and just putting your hand on your heart I'm just saying today, I will be gentle. I will be kind to myself. Let's sing it again. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. Again, I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. So let's just take a deep breath. Let's just sit in silence for just a minute, just taking that in. What does it look like to be truly gentle and kind to yourself? I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. I love myself. I love myself like a newborn baby child. Let's do that again. I will be easy. So tell that inner critic to back off with this one. I will be easy on myself. Love myself. I love myself like a newborn baby child. So let's affirm and say, I am gentle. I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself. I love myself like a newborn baby child. Say it one more time. I am gentle. I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself. Love myself like a newborn baby child. So this week I want you to think about what is one thing you can do. One thing you could do that mothers that part of you that needs to be mothered. What can you do? One sweet act for yourself, maybe even today. Maybe you need to buy yourself some flowers. So knowing that we can be gentle at any moment, it's always a choice. As we sing Alleluia. Alleluia.